Good morning, YouTube subscribers, Finsightful members, and profitable PTS traders. Bit of a different setup for me today. I'm just at home, about to head out over to the eastern suburbs. I've got some meetings over there, so I'm not in the office this morning. This is going to be just a quick one today. I've got to go through some news. So what's been happening? So we've got Texas Senate already approving the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. So what they've actually done is they've gone back and now amended the bill so that they can actually include not only Bitcoin, but they can include other actual coins that could be seen as significant assets to Texas. So what you're seeing is a lot of the US states actually getting on the front foot and creating Bitcoin reserves in front of the actual federal government. And so this is going to create an enormous amount of buying pressure on Bitcoin, the asset, because there's only 21 million Bitcoin, and it's being mined, but every 4 years there's less and less Bitcoin available, and it's harder and harder to actually mine Bitcoin. And because energy is so expensive at the moment, the cost of actually mining Bitcoin is going up. But with the Bitcoin price where it currently is at the moment, it's very, very profitable for Bitcoin miners to continue to harvest those. But this is very, very interesting where you're seeing a lot of states actually implementing Bitcoin reserves within their states. Trump has crypto conference starts tonight actually, so Friday morning. It'll start in the US, which will be about 12:30, 1 a.m. Sydney time. And so what we have here is a who's who of American sort of crypto czars. You've got Michael Saylor, David Bailey, Matthew Hong, JP Richardson, Kyle Samani, Zach Witkoff, Sergey. Like, this is just the who's who of I guess cryptocurrency American protocols. And I think what you'll find is that Trump's whole strategy is going to be to make America wealthy again by bringing a lot more capital and expertise, and then all this whole crypto industry, rather than pushing it away, they're going to pull that into America, and they're going to try and make the US the hub for all of these huge crypto platforms, which are going to run Web3. So the internet of tomorrow, that is all going to be run on Web3, and the US will. Trump is trying to ensure that as much of that infrastructure is going to remain in the US and on US soil. It's going to be interesting to see we haven't actually seen an agenda of what they're going to be discussing, but you could see things like preferential taxing of American-based cryptocurrencies. Could see anything. Could be some more information in regards to the strategic Bitcoin Federal Reserve that they're going to launch, in terms of like how much money they're going to actually look at allocating towards this and how they're going to fund it. And then in Truth Social, Doge and Elon Musk is still going forward with the cutting measures. And we have multiple things happening at the same time. We have Trump coming out and talking about putting tariffs on everybody. He's trying to stop the war in the Middle East. He's trying to stop the war in Europe at the moment. He's not really getting very far with either of those, unfortunately. But the biggest thing that they've done is they have really found about $1 trillion worth of waste that the American government is currently spending. And so when you're running a $2 trillion deficit annually, that's 50% of your deficit. So what that will do is, if the government stops printing money, that's going to reduce inflation, because there's going to be less capital or less money flowing out into the world. So then interest rates will come down in the US, the cost of living will come down in the US, and so then interest rates will continue to drop. So they'll still keep inflation at a manageable rate, but all these tariffs and all the cost cutting and all the things that President Trump is doing over there is not going to significantly spike inflation, I don't believe. I think it's going to significantly decrease the money supply that's happening in the world, and then that is then going to have a flow-on effect and decrease the cost of living for the everyday American. So if that then occurs, more people will be able to afford housing, schooling will become cheaper, car loans will become cheaper, and the average American will then be able to afford to live a much more comfortable life. So I'm one of the founders at Finsightful Wealth. This is the school community. You can come over and join us at Finsightful. You get a 7-day free trial. Then you get access to our course here, which is the PTS trading system. You can jump into our school, get the 7-day trial, check out all these lessons, all these modules. There's a ton of information in here, and everything is in there is going to teach you to become a profitable trader. And if you're available in Sydney on the 15th of March, which is 2025, which is next Saturday, we're running a 1-day event where if you become a member and subscribe annually, we're going to do a 1-day intensive training course where you will walk out of that day a profitable trader. And then in 90 days, if you want, it's 100% money back guarantee if you're unhappy or you're not a profitable trader. That's how confident we are in our system and in our education. And my background is in education. So when it comes to teaching, it's one of the passions that I have. I love to teach Aussies and people how to achieve economic security so they can enjoy time and location independence. So fear and greed, we are still in a state of sort of not maximum fear, but definitely in fear. And it's just the choppiness that's happening. So we get some good news one day, markets pump. We get bad news the next day, markets sell off, and we just have this choppiness that's it's happening at the moment. And one of the biggest issues as well is just the US dollar's really sold off. It's sold off quite significantly, and this is because of all of the trade wars. The VIX has also spiked. So this is the VIX on the S&P 500. So again, we've not only have fear in crypto, but we have fear across all growth assets. And that's really putting a lot of uncertainty across the entire market. USDT dominance, we had it shoot straight back up. So it did come down when Trump came out and announced the crypto reserves, and then it's just gone straight back up. So we're just seeing this choppiness around. So that was when he announced it. It came down, and then the next day everyone's back at cash. This is a lot of USDT that people are holding. And so what investors and traders have done is they've sold all their spot assets or sold considerable positions in their spot assets and transferred that money across to USDT. The majority of this increase is not a surplus of USDT coming from fiat. So there's not retail or institutional money coming across and then into USDT. It's actually spot positions that have been sold, hence why assets have sold off so quickly. Bitcoin, we really need it to hold this 90,000 level. It just keeps chopping around here. And as you can see, we've got this sort of ascending triangle here that's being developed on the daily. If we look down at the hourly chart, you're just seeing huge chop around here within the days, but you've got some good buying zones. So if price does come down, it could actually bounce off this trend line that has been formed, but I'll be watching to see how that all goes. And at the moment, we're currently sitting on the what is it? So that line there is just basically that line in the sand, which is that sort of 90,000. That's where we've had some support along, and it's looking like it's going to continue to be support there. Total market cap, it did get back over 3 trillion. We really needed to hold that line. We don't want it to come down and test this $2.5 trillion again. We most certainly don't want it to come back down here under 1 trillion. That would be a disaster. So public markets in the US, again, because of all the tariffs, we've had a big sell-off in all global markets. That's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, also in the S&P 500, also in the NASDAQ. Both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, their charts look pretty much exactly the same. So if you have a look here, and the reason for that is because the Mag 7 basically take up about 30% of the S&P 500 and a little bit more in the NASDAQ, which is here. So that's why you're seeing these charts look pretty much exactly the same. The Russell 2000, it's sold off at a much greater velocity because if the economy worsens in the US, then the smaller companies are going to suffer faster and they're going to suffer harder. It's going to be a lot worse for them because they don't have all of the strategic capital reserves or the assets to be able to support them like the companies that are sitting in the S&P 500. Okay, so Solana really had a big bounce back, but now it's sitting back around that 150, and it looks like it's consolidating in this particular area. We really need to see Solana start to make some higher highs and some higher lows and start to trend back up towards 300, because at the moment it looks like it's going to sit between around about that $150 mark, and this is an area of big consolidation from before. So this was an area that price really spent a lot of time in through 2004, and it looks like it could be spending a fair amount of time here in 2005, unless we can get up and break that number at 180 and then get back up above 200 and then maintain that price there. That's it for me today. A nice short and sharp one. I've got a very busy day in the office and then out and about. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy your trading. Some things you need to be looking out for over the weekend is the non-farm payrolls come out in the US. That announcement is going to be around about 12 to 12:30 a.m. tonight. So if you're a bit of a night owl, you don't sleep a lot, then that would be something that will be definitely a tradable event when that report comes out. And then all throughout the day or all throughout our evening, we'll either be getting truths posted on Truth Social from President Trump, or it'll be all quiet, and then at the end of the day or at the end of the weekend, we'll have some announcements as to what's going to be going forward there. It's going to be a very interesting weekend. I really want to see some good news come out. We need some really, really good news come out, a really solid plan around the strategic reserve, so that we can bring more certainty back into the crypto market, and we can reduce a lot of this volatility. Have a great day. Catch up with you all soon.